Have you ever found yourself thinking about getting remarried, but questioning whether it's truly the right decision? Marriage later in life is a whole different journey compared to when you were younger. And there are some important realities people often don't see coming until it's too late. Whether you've been single for a while, recently divorced, or have lost a partner, remarriage after 60 brings its own set of challenges. From finances and family dynamics to emotional well-being and long-term security, there's a lot to consider that can deeply affect your future happiness. In this video, we're diving into 5 essential truths you need to know before deciding to remarry later in life. These insights could completely shift how you view love, partnership, and commitment at this stage. Too many people jump into remarriage without fully thinking through the long-term impact, only to face unexpected complications that could have been avoided. But with the right perspective and preparation, you can make a decision that leads to peace, joy, and lasting stability. Stick around until the end, because understanding these 5 truths could help you avoid unnecessary heartache and guide you toward a relationship that's truly right for you. Whether you're seriously considering remarriage or just starting to explore the idea, this is information you won't want to miss. Let's get into it. Truth 1. Your financial landscape changes after 60. One of the most unexpected and often overlooked challenges of remarrying later in life is the impact it can have on your finances. While love and companionship may be the driving forces behind your decision, it's important to remember that marriage is also a legal and financial contract. And if you're not careful, it could reshape your financial future in ways you didn't see coming. Let's start with Social Security. If you're currently receiving benefits based on a former spouse's work record, getting remarried could reduce or even eliminate those benefits. This can be a major shock, especially if you rely on that income to maintain your lifestyle. Pensions and survivor benefits come with their own fine print. Some pensions have specific rules that revoke payments if the recipient remarries. That's why it's critical to review the terms before making any decisions that could unintentionally cut off a vital income stream. Then there's the issue of retirement savings and estate planning. Once you marry, your finances are no longer just your own. They're legally tied to another person. That includes not just assets, but debts and spending habits too. Even if you keep separate bank accounts, state laws can still affect how your money is treated in the event of divorce or death. And if you have children or grandchildren, there's even more to consider. Many people assume they can stick to their original estate plans, but remarriage can legally shift who has rights to your property. Without proper planning, your new spouse may end up with control over assets you intended to leave to your children. Take Robert, a 72-year-old widower who remarried later in life. He thought everything was in place for his children to inherit his estate, but after his new marriage, he discovered his wife had legal claims he hadn't accounted for. It took some tough conversations and professional help to restructure his estate so everyone he loved would be cared for. If you're thinking about remarrying, now is the time to speak with a financial advisor or estate planning attorney. These aren't easy conversations, but they're absolutely essential. Protecting your retirement, your legacy, and the people you care about starts with understanding how marriage will truly affect your finances. Love may bring joy, but clarity brings peace of mind. Truth number 2. Family dynamics get more complex with age. When you remarry later in life, it's not just about 2 people coming together. It's about merging entire families, histories, and long-held expectations. And while love may bring joy and companionship, navigating family dynamics can be a completely different story. Unlike younger couples who are starting fresh, people over 60 often bring a lifetime of relationships into a new marriage, adult children, grandchildren, and decades of traditions and emotional ties. These existing bonds don't always blend as seamlessly as you might hope. One of the biggest hurdles? How adult children respond. Even when they genuinely want you to be happy, they may wrestle with feelings of loyalty to your former spouse, fear of losing family traditions, or concern over financial implications. Some may welcome your partner with warmth and openness. Others may react with skepticism, discomfort, or even resentment. These reactions are normal, but if left unspoken, They can create lasting friction that impacts not just your marriage, but your family as a whole. Grandchildren can also be affected. If you played a central role in their lives, a new spouse might feel like a disruption. Some grandkids will embrace the change quickly, while others may need more time and reassurance. And don't forget, your new spouse may have their own children and grandchildren, bringing a second set of family traditions, expectations, and emotional needs into the mix. Blending two well-established family units requires patience, communication, and empathy on all sides. Financial concerns often add another layer of tension. Even if money isn't your focus, your children might worry that your new spouse could influence your will, change inheritance plans, or shift the distribution of family assets. It's not necessarily about greed. It's often about wanting to protect a legacy and make sure long-standing wishes are honored. Consider Susan, a 68-year-old woman who remarried after over a decade of being single. She thought her children would be thrilled, but instead, she faced hard conversations about inheritance, holiday traditions, and even where she and her new husband would live. Her kids loved her, but they also needed time, clarity, and reassurance that they weren't losing the close relationship they'd always had. If remarriage is on your horizon, start with open dialogue. Talk with your family. Be clear about your intentions. Hear them out. Let them know what will stay the same and what might change. These conversations may not be easy, but they can go a long way in preventing misunderstandings and preserving the strong family bonds you've worked so hard to build. Patience, honesty, and compassion are your greatest tools here. Remarrying doesn't mean replacing old relationships. It means making room for new ones while honoring the ones that matter most. If you're still watching and this point resonated with you, drop a number 2 in the comments to let me know you're with us. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. We're here to guide you through these important life transitions with clarity and care. Now, let's move on to the next truth. Truth number 3. Emotional expectations shift after 60. Relationships later in life look and feel very different than they did decades ago. When you were younger, marriage often meant building a life from the ground up, raising kids, buying a house, growing careers. But after 60, priorities change. Marriage becomes less about starting fresh and more about finding emotional connection, companionship, and maintaining a sense of self while sharing life with someone. This shift in purpose is something many people don't fully think through before remarrying, and it can lead to surprises down the road. One of the biggest changes? Independence. By the time you reach your 60s or 70s, you've likely carved out a comfortable way of living. You have your routines, your own home, your hobbies, and a rhythm that works for you. Remarrying introduces another person's habits, preferences, and pace into your world. And blending those two lifestyles doesn't always come naturally. Some assume that once you find the right person, things will fall into place effortlessly. But in reality, successful remarriage takes intention, setting boundaries, respecting each other's space, and learning how to be together without losing your individual identity. Unlike younger couples who are often focused on building financial security or starting families, couples later in life usually come to the table with emotional maturity and financial stability. That changes the dynamic. The relationship is less about external milestones and more about enjoying life, sharing experiences, and supporting each other through the next chapter. But this also means clear communication is more important than ever. How much time do you want to spend together? How do you want to handle disagreements? What does independence look like in your relationship? These are conversations worth having early on, before assumptions turn into frustration. And then there's the emotional history. If you've experienced the loss of a spouse or gone through a divorce, those memories don't just disappear. You and your partner are each bringing decades of life experience into this new relationship, along with habits, expectations, and emotional baggage that can shape how you love, trust, and connect. That's not a bad thing, but it does require a deeper level of emotional awareness. The way you show affection, handle conflict, or communicate your needs may be different than your partner's, and learning to navigate that respectfully is key. Take Harold, for instance. At 75, He fell in love again after losing his wife several years earlier. What caught him off guard was how different this new relationship felt. His first marriage had spanned decades, and everything from routines to communication had been deeply familiar. His new wife, who had been divorced for years, was fiercely independent and valued her alone time, something Harold wasn't used to. It took patience, open dialogue, and time to find their groove. If remarriage is something you're considering, take a moment to ask yourself, what do I really want out of this relationship? Do you envision living together or maintaining separate homes? Are you looking for day-to-day companionship or something more casual and flexible? Are you emotionally ready to welcome someone into a life you've already built? Being honest about what you need and what you're willing to give can help ensure that your next marriage is rooted in understanding, not assumptions. When both partners are aligned emotionally, the relationship has a much stronger foundation to grow from. Ready to explore more? Let's move on to the next truth. Truth number 4. Legal details matter more than you think. Marriage isn't just a romantic or emotional decision. It's a legal contract. And when you're remarrying after 60, the legal side of that commitment can be much more complex than it was earlier in life. Many people go into remarriage focused on love and companionship, without fully realizing how deeply the law can affect everything from finances to healthcare decisions. But without proper planning, you could find yourself or your loved ones facing unexpected and stressful consequences. One of the most important legal areas to consider is estate planning. When you get married, your new spouse may automatically receive certain rights to your property, regardless of what your will says. That means assets you intended to pass on to your children, grandchildren, or other family members could be redirected unless you've updated your legal documents. To avoid this, it's wise to revisit your will, consider setting up trusts, and make sure your estate plan clearly reflects your wishes. Next, think about medical decision-making. If something were to happen to you, an illness or emergency, who would have the legal authority to make healthcare decisions on your behalf? In most cases, your spouse is automatically given priority, which can lead to conflict if your children or longtime loved ones have different views. This is where advanced directives and medical power of attorney documents become essential. They give you control over who speaks for you and how decisions should be made, helping to prevent unnecessary family tension. Then there's the topic many people shy away from: prenuptial agreements. While it might not feel romantic, having a prenup is often one of the most practical and respectful steps you can take when remarrying later in life. It's not about expecting failure, it's about creating clarity. A prenup can outline how assets and debts will be handled, protect inheritances, and define financial responsibilities. It sets expectations early, which can reduce misunderstandings and preserve peace between families. Consider Eleanor's story. At 67, she was thrilled to be in love again, but she also had significant assets she planned to leave to her children. Rather than leave things to chance, she and her fiancé had an honest conversation and created a prenuptial agreement. This gave Eleanor confidence in her decision, and it reassured her children that their future was secure. Everyone felt respected, and she entered her marriage with both heart and mind at ease. These conversations might feel uncomfortable, but they are crucial. If you're considering remarriage, make time to sit down with an attorney who understands estate and family law. It's one of the smartest ways to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your future relationship. Love deserves a strong foundation, and that includes being legally prepared. If you're still with us and found this insight helpful, drop a number 4 in the comments to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and click that button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We're here to help you navigate these life transitions with confidence and clarity. Let's move on to the final truth. Truth number 5. The meaning of happiness evolves with age. As we grow older, our definition of happiness naturally changes. In our earlier years, marriage often meant building a life, raising children, climbing the career ladder, buying a home. But after 60, happiness tends to be less about building and more about enjoying. Enjoying your time, your routines, your freedom, and the life you've already shaped. So before remarrying, it's essential to pause and ask yourself, What does happiness mean to me now? And more importantly, does this relationship align with that vision? Many people assume that saying I do again will automatically bring happiness. But real joy in this stage of life doesn't always come from being in a relationship. It comes from being at peace with yourself. For some, happiness is found in companionship, sharing meals, traveling together, or simply having someone to talk to. For others, it's about preserving personal space and freedom, with the comfort of knowing someone's there when it matters most. The key is recognizing what kind of happiness you're truly looking for. Are you craving closeness, or are you hoping to keep your independence while sharing meaningful moments with someone? The answer will look different for everyone, and that's perfectly okay. One common pitfall is assuming that a new relationship will erase loneliness. While companionship can certainly enrich your life, expecting it to complete you can lead to disappointment. If you're not content on your own, a new marriage might not solve that. It could even add new stresses you hadn't anticipated. Another crucial factor is lifestyle compatibility. By the time you reach your 60s or 70s, you likely have well-established habits. How you like to spend your mornings, your travel preferences, your social rhythms. If your new partner has a dramatically different pace or style, it could create more tension than harmony. Are you spontaneous while they prefer structure? Are you a homebody while they thrive on constant activity? These differences matter more than you might think. Take Frank, for example. At 72, he found love again and remarried, thinking companionship was the missing piece in his life. But it wasn't long before their differences became clear. His new wife loved frequent travel and bustling social events, while Frank cherished quiet evenings and familiar routines. Though they cared for each other, the mismatch in lifestyles led to ongoing friction. Over time, Frank realized he had unintentionally given up the peace and independence he had come to value. That's why it's so important to reflect on what kind of life you want now, and whether your relationship supports that. Do you envision sharing a home, or would living apart feel more comfortable? Do you want to be together daily, or is occasional connection enough? There's no one-size-fits-all answer, just what feels right for you. At the end of the day, remarriage after 60 should enhance your life, not complicate it. When you take the time to understand your current version of happiness, you can make choices that protect your peace, honor your growth, and allow you to enjoy this chapter on your terms. If you're still watching and this message resonates with you, comment number 5 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell for more insights like this. Your support helps us keep creating thoughtful, honest content just for you. Let's wrap up with some final thoughts. Final thoughts. As we close out today's video, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've explored. Remarrying after 60 can absolutely be a beautiful, rewarding experience, but it's also a decision that carries unique realities. Realities that are often overlooked until you're already facing the consequences. From the shifts in financial planning to the nuances of blending families, from evolving emotional needs to legal complexities and redefining what happiness means in this stage of life. Each of these truths plays a vital role in whether second or third, marriage truly supports your long-term peace and fulfillment. The truth is, marriage later in life isn't about meeting someone else's expectations. It's about making a conscious, thoughtful choice that genuinely aligns with who you are now. For some, that means remarriage. For others, it might look like staying independent or finding companionship in ways that don't require legal vows. There's no single right path, only the one that feels right to you. If this video gave you something to think about, give yourself permission to take your time. There's no need to rush into anything. Talk with your family, consult with professionals, and, above all, check in with your own heart. What you need today may be very different from what you needed years ago, and that's okay. This chapter of life is about embracing what brings you peace, joy, and purpose, not following tradition for tradition's sake. Thanks so much for spending time with us today. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and share one takeaway or personal insight from this video. It means a lot to us, and your words just might inspire someone else on a similar journey. And if you found this content helpful, Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Your support helps us keep creating meaningful, empowering content just for you. Until next time, take care of yourself, trust your journey, and keep choosing what makes you happy.